Last summer, we did a mag survey and identified a significant magnetic anomaly sort of trending from southeast to northwest on our property. And that mag anomaly looks like it's close to where this talc deposit is. It turns out we've got a bunch of metals in with this talc. So we found a treasure chest here in the last couple of months. And it's been a game changer for us. Then it changed the focus of the company in the short term.
Perry Little joins me now. He's the CEO of Green River Gold, trading on the CSE under the symbol CCR, and in the United States under the symbol CCRRF. Perry, welcome.
Thank you for the opportunity. I'd be happy to be back.
So, Perry, you are in the business of mineral exploration, and you have got an interesting project that is flying very much underneath the radar right now. Why don't you tell us a bit about it?
Okay, well, quick history. Went out there as a former broker in 2016 to poke around with some gold opportunities. And after a little while, realized our little private company wasn't going to be able to do all the stuff we wanted it to do. So we took an old shell public in 2017. It took over a shell and turned it into Green River Gold, started looking for properties. Our main property is about 90 square kilometers. Immediately adjacent to Osisko's property, their Cariboo Gold property they purchased from Barkerville Gold Mines a couple of years back. And they're fast-tracking a gold mine. That's our next-door neighbor. So we're right on the main fairway that runs down, connects Osisko and Caris Gold and Spanish Mountain Gold. There's a big trend that goes through there, and we're right on that trend. So we are very much Green River Gold, but we got sidetracked recently with another project, which is eating up most of our activity and our energy right now. When we staked the territory back in 2019, we were aware of a talc deposit that had been discovered back in, well, I'm not sure when it was discovered, but it was explored extensively back in the 1980s. And talc's kind of an unusual material. It's the softest mineral. It has multiple industrial uses. And we thought, let's go in there and take a look at that. We staked that at the same time we staked the gold property. And we're also aware of some old nickel showings up near where the talc was. So we've decided to focus a little bit of our activity on that this winter. And we went in and with a backpack drill started drilling some of the talc. Last summer, we did a mag survey and identified a significant magnetic anomaly sort of trending from southeast to northwest on our property. And that mag anomaly looks like it's close to where this talc deposit is. It turns out we've got a bunch of metals in with this talc. So we found a treasure chest here in the last couple of months. And it's been a game changer for us. Then it changed the focus of the company in the short term. We went in with a backpack drill and started drilling, figuring we'd get down maybe 40 feet in talc, which is very, very soft material. We ended up getting down about 60 feet because it is so soft, which is ridiculous with a backpack drill. They're a little one-man drill with an engine about the size of your weed eater. And we managed to get down about 60 feet. But what we encountered surprised us. We used an XRF gun and we ran over the drill core. And it showed that we had a bunch of nickel in there, as well as chromium and a few other materials as well. And we thought, okay, this is interesting. So we sent the stuff off for assay. We know we've got lots of talc. I mean, once you get down below the first few feet, you're into 80% talc. And talc is a fairly valuable commodity. It trades for about, I think it's $210 US for milled talc per ton right now. So it's an interesting commodity in itself. What we did not expect was to find a bunch of metals buried in the talc. We expected nickel over a little ways where the big magnetic anomaly was. We did not expect to find nickel in the talc. So we got the XRF gun results, and they were encouraging, but XRF guns are good for qualitative, not so much for quantitative. We sent it for assay. On Saturday, we got back our assay results. And it blew us away because where we sent in only the first 10 meters. This is right from surface on a hole, and it was the worst 10 meters of that hole. We sent that part in for the assay, and it was 0.11% nickel in the XRF results. Came back at 0.19 on the actual assay, so a 70% increase in the value of the nickel. And remember, this is right from surface, like, I mean, seriously, from the first centimeter. It also had chromium numbers that were a little higher, 0.16% chromium. But what really shocked us was magnesium. We had trace magnesium in the XRF gun showing. We came back with almost 18% magnesium in this thing. And if you add the value of the magnesium, the chromium, and the nickel, the dollar per ton on this starting right at surface is insane. I could quote the number, but you just got to shake your head and laugh at me. But if it was a gold deposit, you'd be trying to get permits to mine it tomorrow. We've got a lot to learn on this thing still, but what's really interesting is this stuff all sits in a bed of talc. Now, back in the 1980s, this was, the guys did a little bit of drilling and a huge amount of interpretation of results, and they have medium grade and high grade talc. We have to reprove all this, but there's hundreds and hundreds of pages written. They actually did a mining plan and a sort of a miniature feasibility study, if you will, on the idea of having a talc mine. And at the time, they weren't even testing it for the other metals. So they were basically just going to produce the talc. And talc's used in ceramics and plastics and paper. It's got multitudinous uses. It's the softest mineral, and it gets used in paint, industrial solvents, rubber, roofing. It's a $3 billion annual market. So the talc itself is a valuable commodity. So if we're able to fish these metals out of it, the talc would probably pay for the mining operation. And we've got a bunch of nickel and chromium and now magnesium. So we're blown away by this. Yeah.
You've assayed one hole that was 10 meters from surface, and so you've got other core that you're going to assay?
Yeah, we drilled 9 holes. We went up there with a backpack drill, and we put in 9 holes, colored in 3 places. So a couple of them are 90 degrees. So we did 70 degrees, 45 degrees. And we drilled from exactly where the guys drilled back in the 1980s. It was interesting. We actually pierced one of their holes by accident at 42 feet. And you know what the odds of that are? We drilled a 70-degree hole at 42 feet down. We hit one of the holes they had drilled in the 1980s. It's just unbelievable. So we know we're drilling exactly where they were, so we can incorporate a lot of their information. And what we're hitting is basically dead on for what they said they hit, except that they never bothered to assay the stuff to see what else was in it. They were just interested in the talc. So when we started running the materials, it was pretty amazing. So we got 9 holes. The deepest we went was 18 meters because we were just using a backpack drill. Next week, we've acquired a Winky drill. If you're familiar with those, they're also a portable drill. It's about a 1 1/4 inch drill core. It is a diamond drill. It'll go down, we should be able to go down 400 feet in a regular rock in this talc, which is unbelievably soft. And once you get down about 40 feet, the stuff just starts to break up and looks like cigarette ash. So it's going to be interesting drilling that we should be able to get down as much as 400 feet. So we'll get a very good idea on how deep this deposit is. The talc occurrences are known to run for about 1 kilometer at least in length. We have no idea the width of this thing. We have no idea at this point of the depth, although we'll start to prove that up pretty quickly with our drilling through the rest of the winter. It could be significant size. And what's interesting is we don't just have this. We didn't expect to find the nickel on this portion. Parallel to this and offset a little bit at the north and west, there's another mag anomaly which is larger and much more intense. And that's where we were expecting to find the nickel. And that one runs for 3 kilometers by about a half a kilometer. And that is really where we expected to find nickel, who knows, maybe magnesium. We were not expecting to find it mixed in with the talc. So this was a much less pronounced mag anomaly that ran along with the talc. So we've got something here that I think is pretty spectacular. We have a number of valuable commodities swimming in a sea of talc. And so if our waste rock was talc and we could sell it, that's not a bad situation.
When do you anticipate getting results from the other 10 holes that you've done with the backpack drill?
We sent them in batches. We will get, within about a month, we should get the bottom 5 meters of this hole. And I'll tell you, that was the best 5 meters of the whole thing. So this 15-meter hole that we drilled The top 10 meters were very weak. The nickel was 0.11%. The chromium was 0.13. Magnesium was just about non-existent. We didn't even report it in the first results because the magnesium was so small. When we sent the stuff for assay, we actually sent the bottom 5 meters for additional testing. So it takes a little longer. We sent that for Davis tube recovery. So we'll get an idea how much nickel we can actually recover from. But just to give you an idea of the difference between the top 10 meters from surface and the next 5 meters, the top 10 meters were 0.11% nickel. The bottom 5 meters were 0.25% nickel. And that's the one we sent for Davis tube recovery. The chromium was also a little higher in that bottom part. And once again, we have no idea what the magnesium is going to be. That was just a shocker. For whatever reason, the XRF gun didn't read the magnesium. The assays certainly did. So we've got a very high dollar value starting at surface between those 3 commodities. And as I say, they're buried in a sea of talc rather than granite. So we've got our waste rock wouldn't be waste rock. So we think we got a really exciting proposition here, and it's taken our mind off gold for the time being. I mean, we're thrilled about our gold property. We also have 26 square kilometers of placer gold properties up there, and we've got a silver project down near Invermere. But right now, our focus is on getting this done. So those assay results will come in over the next couple of months. We've been sending off the other 8 holes. We sent off in batches, and labs are backed up. So going forward, we'll continue to use an XRF gun to drive our prospecting, and then we'll rely on the assays, obviously, to get the real numbers. But yeah, we're pumped.
Well, that's a great introduction to the company there, Perry. We'll come back to you when you get some drill results, and otherwise, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
You bet. Bye for now.